Alex, how are we with, can we take a few questions or,
Pierre has a hand up, I see.
okay.
Yes, hello everyone. Hello, Heidi. I just wanted to, and I put it all the, I would say the information also in the chat based on what I heard from Sharon and from Catherine and from Judith. We have similar, very positive experience in Flanders, where we started many years ago. Because we celebrate this year 20 years of what we call the Valentine Vaccination Symposium, and Margaret Stanley knows exactly what it is because she was one of the speakers, and some of you also know that because we run it on a yearly basis, and it's for all the vaccinators in the Flemish region because we do it, of course, in our local language. And we make no difference between doctors, pharmacists, GPs, school doctors, nurses. Everyone is welcome. It is easily a 500 to 600 members who participate. We keep the fee very low because it's co-organized by the agency, which gives it also a quite official status. And it's all driven by the Q&A that we receive in advance of that symposium. And of course, last year, it was very much driven by COVID-19 vaccine questions, but it has been driven by human papillomavirus, co-administration, so everything is discussed there. We put afterwards the Q&A also on the website, and those who are present profit also from each other's answers and questions. So in some way, proactively, we see afterwards less daily questions that we receive from the doctors and that we try to answer with a number of vaccinators. I would say a bit the way that InfoVac does it as well, but not that well organized and maybe not that well harmonized. But I think that is really something where we believe that by doing so, since almost 20 years, we have been investing in informing and educating and training our vaccinators, which might also be linked to the very high coverage of the immunization in Flanders since a large number of years, and the rapid acceptance of new vaccines, like the human papillomavirus vaccine, with a coverage in the adolescent girls and boys above 85%. So this is something we really want to continue. But the point I want to make, and I was interested to know what Catherine thinks about that and others, is that we could not accept support from the industry. That would really backfire in the eyes of those who profit from the answers. They would immediately consider the answers as biased. And it would also stop the collaboration with the agency, the government agency, because that it would be not acceptable at all. So we try to do it with a minimal funding, and we stress the independence towards the industry up to now. And I really want to know what others' experience is about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. Of course, it is quite an important point because it's always discussed like that by authorities. And just to tell you a story, I know that people working in Santé France are extremely interested and participate and read our answers. And it's still a point that they don't want to share the questions they receive to us to make the answers because of that. But they look at what we do very carefully. And I must say that we are, if I want to be harsh, I would say that some people working in the health, administrative, medical, political domain have other links of interest. And so I prefer independence of thinking. And I know that we are consuming a lot of time with this, and especially pediatricians with their office. How can you imagine that they will give the country several years a week free of charge? It's totally impossible. So if we had a large subvention from the state, I can tell you the honorary we receive for a week. Now it's 900 euros per week of work. if we have more than 100 questions, and that is the lowest at the moment, imagine how the hourly time we spend. So it's less than a lady working in your house. Can you consider it is fair for practitioners participating to the system? So it's a real issue. But we are not married to a company. All of them participate. So we have no real interest in the companies. We have no actions. We have no direct link with the companies. I consider we are more independent as a group than many others. But we may debate a long time about that.
There's a question here to Judith. Do you also focus on decrease? Thank you. I agree, Catherine. This is something I think about a lot also. I think it's a challenge, but an important one to consider. To Judith, do you also focus on decrease of abnormal smears and less interventions if vaccinated? Second, are they informed about screening so they inform their mothers? This is a question.
So maybe I can just explain. It's my question.
Okay, thanks.
Because I think we always focus to reduce cancer, to reduce genital warts. But if you see there's a lot of young girls that have a positive or abnormal smear and get concerned, and we have over-treatment, and we do see in other countries that there's a strong reduction in number of colposcopies. I think Scotland has very nice data on that. And I just wonder, is this something that you focus on, or should we consider it as, because this is intermediate term, this is things at the girls 20 to 30 years of age. It's not really the end stage cancer. It was just a question that I have.
Thank you very much. So there are 2 points. Actually, so in the parents study that I did not present, we included the question of pregnancy or the issue of pregnancy complications following the disease treatment in the attributes. And this is actually something that does motivate parents to consider vaccination. So it's something that we do not hear a lot, actually, in HPV vaccine communication. But this is a point that, well, that links to sexual health, of course, but in a positive way that everybody is sensitive to. So it's definitely, so it's not about the regularity of screening and the inconvenience, it's just the safety of pregnancies following an HPV infection and related disease. And for the adolescents, so we also have actually different tools that will be used in the schools when the teachers speak about HPV vaccination with the adolescents, with the pupils. And there's a video, so it's a very quite standardized way, and we also have discussion tools. But in the video, we decided to have a short mention of screening, but also in order to say that yes, you can also try to do screening against these diseases. But we decided not to put too much focus on it because it was considered that it's something that may, overwhelm adolescents, and then maybe put this vaccine again back into relation with adult life. Whereas we wanted to have this vaccine, something that is really relevant to them right now, because action should happen right now. So I cannot tell you more about how to treat the question of screening when we talk to adolescents, but we decided not to focus on this.
Thank you.
I think in the interest of time and for a break, I just want to thank everyone. It's been really, I think, a very thought-provoking and important session. Also picks up on a number of the earlier points in yesterday's panels, and just to thank everyone for your great presentations. Thanks a lot.